Hey there, focused learners, and welcome back to The Explainer. I am absolutely thrilled to have you here today because we're jumping straight into a truly wild literary mashup. We're doing a deep dive into the novel The Horizon That Breathes by authors Max and Claude. If you've ever found yourself wondering how the gritty, dust-choked reality of the American frontier might handle a full-blown invasion by an incomprehensible, multi-dimensional alien intelligence, well, you are definitely in the right place today.
The dust tasted wrong. That is the opening hook of this story, and man, right away it sets this incredibly eerie, dramatic tone. We're introduced to Jack Cordell. He's a veteran trail boss just doing his job, driving 2,000 Longhorns up the Texas to Kansas Trail, a route he knows like the back of his hand. But on this specific morning, the landscape itself is fundamentally breaking down. The dust is metallic and sweet, kind of like blood left out in the sun.
Which brings us to the massive, mind-bending question at the heart of this book. What happens when the gritty reality of the American West collides head-on with mind-bending cosmic horror? How does a perfectly pragmatic cowboy deal with a universe that suddenly completely defies geometry and logic? Okay, let's dive into this and begin our literary deconstruction of this incredible story.
Section 1. A genre-bending nightmare. So, the story brilliantly lulls you in with the familiar beats of a traditional cattle drive. You've got the boss, the flank riders, the choking dust, the blistering heat. But very quickly, that familiar frontier just totally descends into absolute madness. Right off the bat, Jack and his crew, Tom, Miguel, and Billy, start encountering these deeply unsettling anomalies. The grass they trample springs back up instantly, totally unbent. Their compasses spin wildly, unable to find magnetic north. And honestly, most terrifyingly of all, the horizon itself begins to rise and fall in a slow, rhythmic motion, like a massive lung. It's a literally breathing horizon that acts as a boundary to a terrifying void. The authors build dread here through incredibly specific, eerie details. The cattle's eyes turn this glowing, icy blue, reflecting impossible alien cities. The crew encounters creeks completely choked with phosphorescent tentacled water things. They ride past twisted, non-Euclidean rock formations where the shadows literally pull upward instead of falling down. And eventually, their entire herd marches in perfect military unison right off the edge of the world into nothingness. The brilliant tension here is watching these deeply pragmatic, practical cowboy minds struggle to even comprehend this impossible geometry. Section 2. The Cosmic War Timeline. Let's move to this section and see how this builds.
Let's map out the escalation of this cosmic war, because it moves fast. It starts on day one with those subtle anomalies we talked about, the wrong dust, the spinning compasses. But just weeks later, the cosmic intelligence has literally converted Dodge City into a massive harvest station. Fast forward a few months, and it's infiltrating towns like Cedar Creek with these perfect, emotionless replica humans. And finally, 2 years later, the whole thing culminates in a massive, multidimensional invasion fleet descending right over the Grand Canyon. The intelligence is constantly adapting, learning from humanity with every single encounter.
Section 3. Anatomy of the Outer Range.
First up, we need to understand the outer range. This is basically the realm of the enemy. It's this bizarre space between dimensions where this vast, hungry cosmic intelligence lives. But here's the truly terrifying part. It doesn't just kill its victims, it processes them. It harvests organic life, livestock, and entire frontier towns, physically converting them into living equations, geometric patterns, and crystallized time. Then we have the brand of the void. So the crucial point is that this isn't just some physical burn like a regular cattle brand. It's a multi-dimensional marking that forces absolute compliance. It glows blue right under the skin, and it literally forces both the cattle and the cowboys to willingly and peacefully march straight into the alien machinery to be converted. It completely rewrites their desires so that submission actually feels like destiny. Let's break down this step-by-step strategy this entity uses to conquer Earth. It starts small, just subtly changing the flora and fauna. Then it spawns these unstable equation creatures. But step 3 is easily the most unsettling part, the fake cowboys. The entity tries to clone humans to gather intelligence, so it creates whole towns full of identical, perfectly polite people who ride horses that never eat or drink. They're terrifying precisely because they lack any human imperfection. Finally, when subtly fails, it drops the hammer and launches the full multidimensional fleet invasion.
Section 4. The Power of Bone Dust. So how do you fight pure math? The answer lies in something called bone dust. Early on, Jack figures out that normal lead bullets just pass right through beings made of pure mathematics. It does nothing.
But the cowboys find these fragments of ancient carved bone, Indian artifacts that carry concentrated human belief, history, and determination. By grinding this up and repacking their cartridges with it, they create weaponized belief. When this dust hits the cosmic equations, it acts like acid, completely unraveling the aliens' grip on our reality. Handling this bone dust and fighting the entity forces the cowboys to evolve. They actually gain 17-dimensional sight. They cast these impossible shadows that fall in multiple directions at once. But crucially, through all of this, they remain fundamentally human. I mean, imagine trying to hold on to your core human identity while your mind expands into 17 dimensions. It's that sheer, stubborn willpower that absolutely terrifies the alien mind. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the thematic core of the resistance. The cosmic intelligence is impossibly vast. It can calculate the movement of stars and process entire galaxies into math. But it has one massive blind spot. It simply cannot calculate or comprehend the human willingness to sacrifice everything for the sake of others. Humanity's emotional unpredictability and our sheer, gritty stubbornness become our ultimate defense mechanism.
Section 5. Western meets cosmic horror.
As the authors themselves, Max and Claude, note, this novel represents an experiment in genre fusion, the marriage of minimalist Western prose with cosmic horror themes. It's essentially taking the spare, understated style of someone like Ernest Hemingway and forcing it to confront the Lovecraftian, unknowable terror of the cosmos. And this brilliantly illustrates the shared DNA of both genres. Think about the core conflict for a second. In a traditional Western, the individual is fighting against vast impersonal forces, harsh, deadly landscapes, flash floods, or lawlessness, right? In cosmic horror, the individual is also fighting vast impersonal forces. Except here, it's existence itself, governed by uncaring alien intelligences. The scale changes, obviously, but the struggle of the individual against an uncaring universe remains exactly the same.
So why use minimalist prose to tell a story this grand and weird? Well, by keeping the writing completely grounded in concrete, physical details. The smell of leather, the heavy weight of a Winchester rifle, the gritty taste of dust. The mind-bending horrors feel incredibly jarring and visceral to the reader. It perfectly reflects the practical, nonsense mindset of a cowboy. Jack Cordell approaches a 17-dimensional monster the exact same way he approaches a stampeding herd, with quiet grit and a loaded gun.
Which leaves us with a final, chilling thought. The story ends with Jack standing at the edge of the Grand Canyon as the sky completely fills with alien ships. The real war is just beginning. So we have to ask ourselves, does humanity's stubborn evolution, our newfound cosmic awareness, actually secure our survival? Or does a shotgun loaded with bone dust merely delay the inevitable cosmic harvest?